Excuse me. Can I ask you a question? Yes. What do you know about the Dust Bowl and like the Great Depression and stuff?
No, what do you want to know?
It's for a school project.
Okay.
Anything about the Dust Bowl?
What do you want to know?
Like, what do you know
Everything?
about? Sure.
In the 1920s, the farmers in the fields in Nebraska and Colorado and all the Midwestern farming didn't know that you shouldn't plow in the same direction year after year after year. And then one year a fluke of no moisture arrived. And since they had plowed the soil incorrectly, not knowing that it would ever go away, all the soil was picked up by the wind and blown off the prairie.
I didn't even know that you had to do it in different ways.
And it was because of poor farming. So what happened was that the topsoil was blown away and the farmers couldn't grow anything. The soil invaded their homes, it stifled all their crops. It actually killed some people because they inhaled the dust that was in the air. And so people lost their farms and they mostly moved to California. And that's where the big exodus took place out of the Midwest. And that's why it was called the Dust Bowl, because it's not really a bowl, but it was called the Dust Bowl because all the soil blew up in the Midwest.
Thank you.
Is that helpful for you?
School project. What do you know about the Great Depression?
Nothing.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Or like the Dust Bowl, 1930s?
You know what? You would have to ask my daughter.
Really?
And she's a sophomore in high school, so she's actually right over there.
Like,
I missed the, I don't know.
basically that it was like a lot of people died because dust got everywhere. It was like pretty much a hurricane, but instead of water, it was just dust.
Right. Do you know why there was dust all over the place?
I don't remember. Like, giant tornado or something? I don't know.
Okay. Thank you. Excuse me. Can I ask you a question?
I have an answer.
Okay. What do you know about the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl in the 1930s?
Great Depression, if I remember, was caused by a stock market crash. Dust Bowl caused all the farmers, it was a really dry season, all the farming decided to die out because of obviously lack of water. Top of my head, don't remember much more than that, but it's also been like 6 years since I've had to really look at it.
Right. Well, you knew not a lot more than other people in the store, so thank you.
I'm just asking you a few questions for our school project.
Sure.
Okay, what do you know about like the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl in like the 1930s?
You mean in regards, I hope you don't think that I was living through it.
No.
Oh.
We're just trying to...
In regards to the Great Depression, and probably there's two stories from my grandparents. My grandparents lived through the Great Depression, and so I think from their experience, they taught me a lot about with regards to having to save and not waste. And I think when things became a little bit better, they ended up saving a little bit too much. I had a grandparent that had a whole closet full of canned goods and such because they lived through a time that they were without. But you know, I do know government-wise, you know, I think a lot of people credit, of course, a lot of government programs that got us through that time, and whether that was good or not, it, you know, inflated a lot of government programs. But yeah, I mean, those that time, I didn't live through it, of course, but I did have relatives that did. So, you know, I don't know if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good luck on your school project.
Thank you.
Hot stuff. Do you mind if we ask you a few questions about for a school project?
Kind of questions.
Like what you know about the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression in the 1920s and 30s?
Okay. What about it?
Just like any knowledge you have about that time?
I knew a lot of people died from the Dust Bowl.
Do you know how it all started or anything?
Yeah, it came from, it was a big agricultural thing. People, trying to find the right words. Basically, it was during the expansion towards the west, pretty much. And it's basically just over farming the lands throughout all the
Well, thank you.
nutrition in the ground. So,
Thank you.
are you sure it was during the World War II era?
It was before World War II.
Okay, I thought he mentioned World War II. I'm like,
No.
that doesn't sound right at all.
No.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yep.
Can I ask you a question for school?
I'm not in school.
I know, but you're not in school anymore. But, what do you know about the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression and like the 1930s?
Okay. What do I know about it?
Yeah.
Well, contrary to popular belief, I wasn't alive during that time, but it was just the part where it was a Great Depression at the time. Nobody was working, and there was no crops being grown because of the environment at the time. A lot of people out of work. There's a great movie called The Grapes of Wrath that was made because of that.
Yeah, it's the book that we're reading in English right now.
Okay. Books are always great.
Did you like the movie?
Sure.
Did you read the book?
No.
Lucky.
No.
Yeah.
You're lucky. Books, are better than the movies, obviously. But no, I guess when I was your age, I just didn't get which books I could read. But read the books. Definitely read the books, because even if you watch the movie, it gives you a different perspective.
Thank you.
Photo time.
I get the camera.
No, I get.
Give me the camera. Stop it. Oh my God. Shoot me.
Hey.
Press one.
Hello, sir. Could I ask a few questions for a school project?
Actually, no. I'm looking for my wife because we are wearing. My sister is wearing my car.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay. He's bad.
No.
Excuse me. Can I ask you a question for a school project?
Sure.
What do you know about like the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl and the 1930s?
Nothing really.
I don't know nothing about that.
Tell him, Mike.
Tell him.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Can we ask you a few questions for a school project? Feel free to make anything up you want. It's fun. What do you know about the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl? Make something up. It's fun.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Great Depression. What do you think? What do you think of when you hear the words the Dust Bowl? I don't know. The Super Bowl. Would that be like a? How would you incorporate the word dust into it? Dirty. Dirty. So a dirty Super Bowl. Awesome. Thanks.